Alright, how's it going? So, let's get rid of this so you can see my face. So, we're getting back into some game dev. I know I've been enjoying some Final Fantasy the last little bit, but I gotta get working on this. And right now, we've got this cool little situation where when you're in the screen, random people from your squad are going to show up to kind of walk around on this map. That's cool. They're T-posing. So we need to fix that. We need to give them something to actually do. So I've actually got this little folder here with some walk animations. Ignore all of this. There's kind of a big rendering pipeline I've got going through Blender, and that's why. But what I'm really interested in is these little files here. So what we're going to do is copy this folder and bring it into the game. There it is. Working games. Mighty Minions. Assets. Textures. Sprites. New folder. Untitled. There we go. Just gonna do that for now. And you don't need all of these. Okay. Compressed. Alright. So the assets are in the game now. Sweet, that's all we needed, right? Nothing else. Definitely not a crap ton of coding to get the correct sprite. Because if we hold everything, it's going to be in visual. These are for UI bars. We got this big function here. This takes in camera and changes the sprite based on that. So if we just choose a fight, you see how he changes? That's a result of this function. This does not take into account what they're doing at the time. It just pulls in this. So we need to make a system that yeah, we need a system that's going to change, or it's going to change what folder they're pulling from based off of their class. All right. So if we just do var current visual path string, and then yeah, so here we're going to do current visual path equals res data. Let's just pull in, it's going to be assets, textures, sprites. Yeah. And then it's going to be plus string of stats dot current class dot data ID. Right. The thing is, that's not going to be able to determine, that's not going to be able to adjust if that file path doesn't exist. Because right now, nobody has a class ID called Untitled. So what's it gonna pump out? Or is it just gonna break? So print current visual path. So it's fine and dandy, except for the fact that those folders don't exist yet. Print their access dot. Oof. We're gonna make this a function. Func set visual path. Hey, how's it going, silly dally? Thanks for coming to hang out. What are you up to right now? I'm doing great. Waking up early just to do all the stuff that I want to do before work. Let's see. So, current visual path equals. Alright. So, current visual path plus equals stats dot current class dot data ID plus what do you got going on today? And my day's kind of packed. We got work. I've got this going on. My wife has stuff going on, so I got to make sure to be home on time. My name is Corey. My username is Zerostin, but my name's Corey. Var temp equals their access dot new. If temp dot. What kind of work are you doing? There exists current visual path. Then var temp. Yeah, and we're gonna change this to paper crits. What are paper crits? I might be sounding like an idiot if I say that. Teaching. Ooh. You know, my wife's a teacher. She teaches high school biology. Digital artwork. That's cool. I'm not a great artist. That's why I do everything I can to offset this kind of work that I'm doing. I try to set in pipelines that make it easier for me. Current visual path equals let's see, did I drop frames? No, it doesn't say I did on my end. My wife's a teacher. Okay. Make an instance instead. I don't know how to do that. How do I make an instance of their access? Go make instance of their access. Open. Okay. Var temp equals their access dot open temp. And that should be there. She teaches biology. Yeah, I'm doing a bit of coding today. Here, let me make it where this game's actually gonna compile. And we'll show you what I'm doing. So right now I'm just setting it up so it automatically detects the class of the characters in these games and sets their animation folder so that it knows which files to pull in for their actual animations, because I don't necessarily think it's the best idea to have dudes T-posing the whole game. I mean, I could, but it's a little out there. So, yeah, just trying to get that set up. If there exists. Well, let's see what print there. Set visual. So, I mean, obviously you're in Twitch chat. What kind of games do you play? Boom. Ooh. Well, I appreciate it. Object null. Okay. There. Null. There. Access. Open. Just copy this over now. No, we don't actually want to open it. There. Yeah, we're actually going to call this visual path. Else current visual path is temp. There we go. Call of Duty. So are you excited for the recent DMZ announcement they did? Well, thanks. I'm glad you like talking with me. Not everyone does, so let's try visual path. Let's see. I don't have Instagram. I do have a Discord, but I don't have it pulled up right now. If you look in my bio, though, I think it should have a link to my Discord. So that'll probably be the easiest way to find me, is if you go there. Yeah, I think that'll be the easiest way to add me on Discord is Well, I try to be a good guy. Okay, so I got the folders set up now. I am educated. I've been through college and everything. Yeah, like I said, if you just go to my bio, just go to the Discord link. That's where you'll be able to find me. Okay. So now the path is set up. I need to be able to change what folder in there I'm pulling from based off of what they're doing right now. So I think if that's the case, let's just try this for now. Current visual path plus bulk flash render underscore. No, it's gonna be slash compress.png. I think that'll work, right? Because render, it's gonna have DL, UL, whatever, and compress.png. This could break. It's not gonna be here yet. Ooh, dang it. DL. Resource file not found. Assets, texture, sprites, untitled. Really? Sprites, untitled, walk, render underscore. Ooh, why are those called? I don't like the file type is in that folder name. I might have to change the code. Yeah, I need to actually make the animation, don't I? So we'll come here, animation, new, walk. Should be able to do this. Okay, you gotta select a node. This kind of is an old plugin. Missing JSON. What? Missing animation tags data. Oh, there's no tags. Ugh. So if I come file, open recent, it's gonna be, oh, let's just do open working games. It's gonna be this guy. All right, there's the file, scripts, open scripts folder. Got a lot to do. Let's see. Render directions. I don't know how to make a tag in Lua for a sprite. A sprite Lua make tag. Let's see. Not really what I wanted. Bulk rename tags. Hmm. Oh, I just realized that color box is kind of messed up. Let's try to fix that real quick. That's better. Sprite.tags. There we go. Sprite new tag. So is this the... Let's actually do a small run on this. Working games, Blender renders, untitled. Well, okay. So if I run the animation compressor, oh, like that closed it. View details. Under renders, view details. Untitled. I'm not sure if that worked. Let's delete this one. Pull this guy up. File. Scripts. Run it. Okay, so it does work. So, open path. Alright, that's where it opens it up. Title, compressed. It merges duplicates there. So, tag. Let's pull this back up. And not mess that up while I'm at it. I also don't know why I dragged this all the way over here. Sprite new tag. New tag. Come on. Ace, Sprite, Lua, Docs. Yeah. Tags. Oh, animation. Tag several frames. Scripting. API references. Open, save. Brushes, Lua libraries. Well, let's see. Do any of these have what I might want? Move cells, back similar tiles, path editor, palettes, pixels, tile to layers, touch toolbar, wizard, export tags to different sprite sheets. Okay. SPR.tags. You know what? Maybe it would be easier to just change the crap. Or hold up. File. Open. I could just new tag. Wall. And then file. scripts. Sure. Sure. Cancel. Don't save. Okay, so now this should actually have tags. Frames. Tag. Maybe not. But we'll bring these over anyway. Working games. Mighty Minions. Assets, textures, sprites, untitled, walk. Replace everything. Missing animation tags. Output. Meta tags. Oh, that sucks. File. Open. Yeah. Scripts. I don't know. I didn't want to run it. You dingus. I want to open the file. Open scripts folder. List tags. True. File. Let's try that now. Not this one. I want you. Yes, JSON. Whew. So, are there tags now? Frames. Frame tags. Well, there aren't any tags. Come on. Close. Open this back up. There should be a frame tag. Why are there not frame tags? This is really kind of ridiculous. Export sprite sheet, list tags. List tags is false. Tag equals tag.name. SPR dot tags. Tag equals SPR. SPR dot tags. And then tag equals tag 0. And then tag equals tag.name. Tag equals tag.name. Okay. And we're just going to stop closing the app. File. Open. It's gonna crash. It's not gonna work, is it? Line 16 near line 23. No, yeah, you gotta add a comma there. Okay, I don't know how to do comments in Lua, so we're just gonna get rid of that. Attempt to index a nil value global tag. Huh. So what is this doing actually? Texture, data file name, data format, tag. Tag. Active. Export sprite sheet. At command export UI equals false. Type equals sprite sheet type horizontal. File name, data file name. What does table insert do? Like if I were to just copy this. And then paste you there. This could really get wonky. Just get rid of you. Yo, what did that just do? How did that affect things? Files. Okay. Man. Okay, that's it. We're gonna see if ChatGPT can do it, because I don't want to spend forever trying to figure out this API. I need a script in Lua for a sprite that will add animation tags to the export. Let's just see what this pulls up. I'm not super confident. I want to export the tags into the JSON file. Okay. Data format list tags is true. Frame tags, name idle, from to direction forward. Check that tags is enabled. You're exporting as JSON hash or JSON array. New tag. Okay. File. Run the script. Well, actually. Now run the script. Close all of these. Come back here. See, that should be there. And it's not. Why is it not? I was really kind of hoping some better things would be going on. But this is just killing me. Am I exporting as a JSON hash? Let's see. Ask overwrite, texture file name, JSON file, data format. Okay, there's a JSON array. Nothing is showing up in the frame tags array. Let's see what this error was actually. Animation, bad argument to insert. Okay. Alright, chat, what you got? Yes, it does. Print spr.tags. File. Close you. Yeah, well, it does all four. You know what? It's only gonna do it for DL, isn't it? Which is not... Wait, this is down left. What the heck is this? So, let's see, scripts, run it. Why is it opening? Okay, so I do need to just make the tag here, like first thing. Force build the text. If you can generate your... No, I don't want to do that. How would I add a tag through code? Okay. So local tag equals spr dot new tag, right? Sprite. I guess 0. How to get the length of number of cells in a sprite. So, doesn't provide a spell, but you can count them by iterating through. Okay. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna take. Heck yeah. Frame count. Come back over here. Creating multiple. Now I only need to make one. I'm gonna just name it idle. Yeah, we'll deal with that in a second. This is gonna break. Just wait. File. Line 16. Okay, well. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this. File. Scripts. Close. File. Whoa. String. Line 16. New tag does not exist. That really sucks. I hate vibe coding this. New tag does not exist. Print. Alright, what version am I using? 1.3.1. I'm using 1.3 but 17.2. And it creates a new tag in the specified name. App.active sprite. Do I not have? Oh. Okay, so I do have SPR. Print SPR. Dot new tag. Let's see if that works. Still gonna break, but that was line 15. Maybe instead of you, it's this. Come on. Scripts. Nope, still nothing. This is getting frustrating. Different type of sprite. User data. Really? Is that what it should be? Okay. Print type puts out user data. I just don't know anything about this. Okay, so that's good. Then we're dealing with something. Okay, so SPR dot new tag. That's how you want me to do that? Yep. It's gonna say nope, can't do that. There says no field new tag. Or, oh dude, I hate yo, what's up, Zox? I am trying to get a tool script going so that I can automate an animation pipeline in Aseprite. Which is a whole lot of words to say that I'm trying to make this a bit fancier than it needs to be. And I'm not even familiar at all with Aseprite's API. So I'm just trying to learn as I'm doing this. Okay. So I can actually just do SPR. So right now, really what I need to do is I need to be able to basically open a bunch of files automatically, add an animation tag to them, and then export that into a JSON file so that I can put it into my game. Which, let's see, tried to access a deleted doc, right? Am I? So we're actually just going to do app open and then SPR equals app dot active sprite. What are you working on or doing, I guess? You have any fun projects you got going on, Zox? Crap. Active sprite does not exist. Because that takes too long. So it's fine and all to do that, but one, I kind of hate working with Godot's animation player. And another thing is I have a fairly complex I guess, what do you want to call it? Pipeline, where I have a 3D model with an animation for it that gets rendered down into a series of frames for Aseprite, right? So, and it creates a frame every 100 milliseconds to go with Aseprite's typical process for doing it. And so I want to merge all the duplicates, I want to create the animation and add an animation tag so that I can just pull it in. Because I don't want to have 12 of these frames if I only need 3. RPG stat system. Hey, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Because I spent a lot of time building one. Okay, what was that error that I got? File. Field active sprite does not exist. Okay. Let's just copy that and do that. Scripts. Oh, it doesn't even print. Okay, well that does mean... Oh. Yeah, there we go. That fixes it, right? Line 16 deleted. Ooh. New SSPR. Let's see if this makes it any better for me. Because it might be getting confused. File, scripts, deleted doc sprite. It deleted. Where's anything getting deleted? Yeah, feel free. Type out whatever you need. I'm here for a little bit still, so I'm more than happy to answer things. Let's brute force it for now. See if that fixes it. File. No, that didn't work. So that's not the issue. Well, let's print frame count. I want to know if it's even getting all the data that I need. I love not knowing an API and trying to code tools that work with it. Try to access a deleted in my tool. I'm opening a new file and then trying to add a tag. Getting the error. What's the error? I really should just copy and paste it. Tried to access a deleted doc. Tried to access a deleted doc. Right. When calling new tag. Is a loop variable still pointing to the sprite object that a sprite has already destroyed internally. Boom. Sprite equals sprite with the height. Equals width. Let's see, I made a system where all the stats are separate, strength, intelligence. Yeah, makes sense. If I randomly generate something with... How does the game know which resources should add those bonuses to. Hey, don't worry. Your English is good enough to get the point across. That's all that matters. And I'm from Texas, so there's plenty of people who say that my English isn't real. Let's see. So if I'm right, you're saying, let's see, we'll just do a new script to (2D scene), attach a script, and we're just gonna, right, we'll just try this. Okay, so you have something like class name equal is stat intelligence, right? You got something like that. So you got a different resource for each stat, and they all inherit from a parent resource that has the functionality for it, right? Okay. So what might be... This is a different structure than what I typically use, and what I use makes this a lot easier. What I do, and this is, I'm not saying this is what you have to do at all, I'm just saying this is what I do. I have a base stats class that has an enum with all of the stats that a character can have. I like enums because when you are trying to figure out what to do, you can access this class anywhere, right? So I can be like, hey, I want to do var strength. So say this is an item that I'm writing here, right? I'll even just class name item, and then extend resource. So we'll just do var add attribute. So I can actually do base stats dot stat enum, and if I just do export, I can come over here, and in the resource, in whatever I'm attaching this resource for the item script into, I can just choose, I want this to affect my agility. And that's really the kind of the beauty of both having your class names but also enums. So you can even do something like this, where it's like func randomly generate, right? And you can say, you can give it a return value for wherever your enum is saved, and you can just do, oh, I'm actually really curious if you can do this. Is there a pick? There isn't a pick random, but you can do var list array base stats dot stat enum, and you can say, I only want to be able to choose these kinds of stats. So you can only, this can only affect my max HP, or, sorry, it's gonna take me a second. So you can say, we're just gonna make this. Okay, sorry about that. So this generates a list of stats that, like, your item could potentially affect, and then just list dot pick random, and that'll immediately choose one of these two, or any number of things that you put in there. And if you use enums, then it's going to automatically map it to this. That's why I really like enums for this, because you know how many stats you're going to have. You can always add them later throughout development, and it's something that's built into the engine. You make a custom class, and that makes it really easy to avoid errors. Because if I come in here and I say I want to add a stat for, I don't know, fear, now there's a fear stat in the game, and it doesn't get in the way. It doesn't change how any of this maps. That's a great question. It took me a really long time to make that pretty decent. And I like how you use update stat, because that's basically the function name that I have. And honestly, it gets super complicated. Let's see. Let's fold all of these. Set stat, get change notification, get effective stat. Yeah, no, it's a lot. This isn't all just code. There's classes, there's equipment, there's status effects. It's crazy. But to answer your question, this is basically the function. And the way that I like to do it is by having two different copies of things. So you have your base stats, right? So these are the stats that your character has outright, right? You know, and I dynamically build that when it's getting made, when the character, I guess. Yeah, when the character first gets created, I populate base stats with a value of 0 for every single stat in this enum. But I also have a copy of it, effectively, that is effective stats. And so when you come down to like this, it pulls in your base stat. You tell it, hey, I want strength. It passes in strength through to this. And it says the base value of this is your base stats strength. Okay? And it goes through, it gets your equipment's, you know, whatever change your equipment gives to it. So like your equipment's +1 strength, it'll pull from that, which is another dictionary that gets populated, and base value adds that equipment modifier. And it goes through all the status effects. And I pull this into a variable base value, because then it doesn't change anything in your base stats array. Yo, thanks for the follows, Ox. And so it does all of the calculation of your status effects and everything, and it saves it into your effective stats. Yeah. So that, at least for my system, I have effect modifiers, which is a dictionary. Right here, I declare effect modifiers, right? So whenever I get an effect that adds a % base, it gets thrown into that effect modifiers dictionary, which happens in this function. So you tell it to modify. To modify is, again, the stat that you want to modify. So you would pass in the strength, and then however you want to structure your data, you know the magnitude of the change and everything like that. And a big amount of this is kind of based off of my system specifically, so it might be hard to really understand or parse. But you basically say, hey, yeah, no, I totally get it. It took me probably 2 or 3 years to really nail this down. Yeah, you joke about how this is a 400-line code. You should have seen it. I mean, it's taken me a long time. But basically, the easiest way to explain it is I have all my data for the character's base stats, and it's in one section. Then I have the data for all of the things that change their stats in another section, and then a final one that is those put together, and that's the one that you use in all your calculations. I keep track of base stats so that nothing gets broken. You know, I don't want a bug to overwrite somebody's base stats and then break their save file. And base stats never gets changed except for when they level up. But basically, I just save it, and then I apply it onto its own dictionary. You might not like how this is set up, too. I mean, this is what really works for me. But there are some benefits to this. There's some downsides to it as well. So yeah, it's basically separating your base stats from your effective stats, and then you can mess with your effective stats and the modifiers all you want. You can change it however much you want, and it's not that big of a deal. So, like you said, if I want plus 4%, I mean, I know that this is hard to read. That's partially my fault in how I built it, but this right here is how it's creating the percent, right? So I save in this effect modifiers if something is a percent or not. Yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to... So in my design, I wanted to be able to say, change values and change what things get affected by what as much as possible, and I didn't want my system to get in the way of that. So I really like the enum route for stats. I try to avoid resources for this personally. Just because I feel like when you start doing resources, it makes it harder to understand what's happening at a glance. I mean, because you're going to start passing in objects and references and things all over the place just for data, when all the functionality really is kind of the same. But that's just a personal thing. I mean, people use resources in Godot all the time. Godot uses resources all the time. It's fine. I just don't like it personally. So, what was I doing? Let's see. If you're opening a file... Let's see. There we go. Let's do sprite. You know, that's a great question. And it's one that I've honestly kind of been too lazy to work on. For this game, because of the specific game and the style that it is, I just base it off of you need 100 XP to level up, and the amount of XP you get is based off of level differences. I have a bigger game, a much bigger game, and I just do a formula where it adds some kind of an exponent to it. I could probably pull that up real quick. We'll go data. Should be party data, stats. It'll be here. No, it's not here actually. It's going to be in stat growth. Yeah, so this is just, it creates a chart of 100 levels and then it's 25 times the level times the new level. Like, it's not a great curve, and I'm going to change it because I don't like it. Really, if I wanted to do an actual curve, I would create a curve resource and then I could change it in the editor. But the thing about level curves, if we pull back a bit, right? Like, you have your system for how you calculate things. But the thing you have to keep in mind with level curves is it's directly tied to your game design. And so really you have to, before you know how you want your curve to be set, and this is why I haven't really nailed mine down yet, is you need to really spend some time and figure out what levels mean, how levels feel, how often you want levels to happen, and just kind of get an idea of what level do you want to start at, what level do you want the player to end at, right? And then think about how long you want it to take to get from point A to point B and base it off of that. And I haven't fully established that in my bigger project yet, unfortunately. In this tactics game, it's a little bit simpler, thankfully. I don't have any release games. I know, so suddenly everything that I say feels a lot less valid and a lot less like it's worth listening to. So this is a smaller tactics game that I'm working on, with a bit of randomly generated fighting. So there's tiny amounts of roguelite elements. I don't like saying that because I don't think a roguelite as a word communicates what this game is. But basically, I wanted a tactics game where you only had generic units and they could die a lot. So kind of like XCOM, but in the Final Fantasy Tactics style, and hopefully it'll go alright. Once I get this looking better, I'll be able to get a Steam page up. Oh, crap, why is this not working? And print sprite. File. Okay, it docks sprite. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, I can do that. It's not going to look fantastic. It works, but it doesn't look great. Let's go full screen for this. Alright, so we got Janelle here. She's a fighter. Attack, defense. Okay. We're going to a fight. That's fair. Let's go into a fight with two guys. Like I said, it's broken right now, because I haven't figured out my animations. But where there's a shadow, there's a guy. So we got Olvar and Andrea. So we'll spawn Janelle in here. So it's her turn. So if I come here in between them, right now my attack attacks all of the squares around, so I can hit both of them at the same time. Olvar's gonna go. He's gonna miss. He's gonna... Oh, it's his turn again. Probably not the best turn ordering yet. But they keep splitting up like this, so it's pretty easy to just get them. Also, I really like how their sprites are all twisty, because it's billboarded. But I am completely lost on where they are compared to me now. And that's Andrea. That's Olvar. Let's kill Olvar. There we go. Olvar's down. He shouldn't be able to move though. So I do need to move him out of the turn order still. Hey! Battle's over! And Janelle gained 62 experience. Is half dead. But overall, I'd say it's alright. Yeah, let's... Oh, that's my alarm. I need to be done here pretty soon. Kinda, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I want to keep the Slay the Spire type map. It was just the easiest way for me to throw together randomly generated fights that have different attributes to them, and to make you feel like you're moving forward. I might change the framing of it a little bit, but right now it works. So okay, so if I come back to Aseprite, I mean, it has a sprite. So what if I do new sprite? It might be a naming issue. I don't know. I'm just not familiar with how Lua works in general. Yeah, still. Yeah, let's copy this. I said copy it. There we go. Alright, we're gonna do new sprite. Home tab, home tab. Come on, Aseprite. Don't do me dirty. Well, there we go. Scripts, doc sprite, working games. Okay, that was the file name. Why is that a hashtag? I don't want that to be a hashtag. A pound sign, like as older people used to call it. Okay. Where you created. Okay, fine. we'll just copy this into ChatGPT. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I thought it's holding a reference. Okay. That's weird. Why would they do that? Why have one language where it's like, yeah, let's use a colon to call things? Yeah, Claude is better. I just don't have an account with Claude. I did do that. I'm opening a PNG. I know I'm opening a PNG. Oh, I know. I don't have time to, like, I don't want to go in and use my Google to do it while I'm on stream. I'll probably do it later, just off a stream. Yeah, I know that. Okay. And I mean, it's not like this is horrible. Okay. Wait, did it just work? No way. So if I come back over here, go to Blender renders, compressed. Let's check this JSON out now. Heck yeah! So now I can come back to you. You're not going to be 2, you're going to be frame count. We don't need to print all of this. We don't need to print this. It was the app refresh, which, I mean, I knew it had to be something where it wasn't, or still referencing an old sprite, and it wasn't fully initializing on the load. So, and app.exit. Save any of this. File. Nope. Alright. And then just a double check again. There we go. Now, there's a slight issue. It's naming all of the animations compressed. Which it should name it title, I think. Yeah. Which title? Where's title coming from? Render directions number. Yeah, where? So it's just putting it into walk because that's where it's at. So I shouldn't name it title. I should try to. How would I change the name of the tag based on the folder name the images are saved in? Last folder in the path. Yeah, Oh. So, app.fs.filename. So what if I just do print.app.fs.filename? Okay, and we'll type in path. What do you say when I do that? File, scripts. File name does not exist. Dang it. What if I... What is title, actually? Let's figure out what title is. Nope. Cancelled. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Don't save. Kind of hate that it makes me have to save them now, but... let's print path. Gotta love just throwing print in there all the time. Okay. So... yeah, okay. So... that's totally fair. If I pull up... I got way too much stuff open right now. So, right here, I got this Blender file, and then, so I render it here, right? And what's this? That was the wrong one. I want this over here, and this right here. Okay, so if I... come on. It's been a while since I've used Blender. Let's see. R, no. Body. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button. So, if I wanted to rotate... yeah, so I'm rendering the character in 3D. There are some inverse kinematics going on, but the basic thing is the character is in 3D, and I want him to be 2D. He's in 3D because it's easier to animate, and it's easier to iterate after you get it set up. It takes forever to get it set up, especially if you're not familiar with it, like I am not, and then it renders it out. But the problem is Blender renders every keyframe, and the keyframes for pixel art, you don't want it to do a lot of interpolation because then it won't look like pixel art. So I have to have all these keyframes here that are basically the same, and then it changes to this one, and what that does is it generates a whole lot of images when it's really just three. It's 3 images. So it's basically taking all of those renders down, and it's compressing them into a single folder. And what I'm doing is I'm taking the length of each of those animations in Blender. So wrong one. So each of these keyframes, I'm taking it, and the length of that determines the length of the frame in the pixel art. So that's why I'm having to do all this tag stuff and everything, because he's in this pose for 300 milliseconds. Well, each frame in here, each keyframe here, is going to correlate to 100 milliseconds, which is Aseprite's standard. So it's really just a lot of back-end work to make my life easier when I'm actually going to start making characters, because, I mean, if I have 15 characters that I need to animate, that's a lot. So, I mean, I have a Blender export script that rotates the camera around them and renders frames for each one at each rotation. And then I come into Aseprite and I compress them all into this. And then it's just a lot of automation for busy work so that I can save time down the road. And I mean, honestly, I don't even need to change the name of this as it is. I just kind of want to. App. Dot. So, what was chat saying about this? FS. File name. Path. And what was Aseprite saying it couldn't do? File name. Field file name does not exist. So that's not a real thing. Am I reading you wrong? Oh my goodness. This is just me not being familiar with Snakecase. It's gonna work now, isn't it? Okay. Why do I feel like that worked? Maybe it didn't. Oh yeah, because there we go. Because I never actually changed. Remember to actually, finish your code before you call it good. So now it'll work. File, open. Okay, now it's finally... Crap! Dang it! There's no name. And I think because it ends... Yeah. And strings in Lua are so stupid. But, I mean, it basically works. So I think I'm gonna call that good for now. I've got to get going to work. So Zox, thanks for coming to hang out with me. It's been a ton of fun. I'm glad. Whoa, we got 6 people in here? When did that happen? Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to leave a follow if you liked. We're gonna... Yeah, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna raid somebody. Let's see. Somebody who speaks English. Preferably. Let's do this guy. Man, it's been a ton of fun. Zox, thanks for hanging out. It's been really nice having a chatter. Alright, YouTube, it's been fun. See ya.